I have turned them loose. Game number 1 coming up between Aquas and Gruntiatus. We've got another channel prediction, and the question is, will this go 5? It very well could. They're pretty much at equal footing as we are underway for game number 1 between Aquas and Gruntiatus.
Will be interesting. Aquas, again, we've seen it with a Jackamus there. Aquas being that second player strategy there for the player they choose. Makes it a little interesting. There's little strats with the bonus room, but ultimately it will become very interesting, as we saw with the Jackamus fight, of those Mutoid drops. When you get that right side spreader and your second player, makes you feel real good about making that decision, right?
Aquas is going to have the whole shot. He's going to be first by about half a second on Gruntiatus. It is early, though. Let's find out what the first drops are going to be for both of these runners. And yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Being on the right side, getting the perfect spreader to get the PB that he got. A foot for Gruntiatus, grenades for Aquas, nothing.
Grenades, you don't really want to see it. It will actually, if you're able to get to the crowds, you can actually do some decent damage with it. But yeah, rockets, that's what you want to see right there on the opposite side.
Invulnerability for Gruntiatus. Again, it's a decent thing to have when you don't have an orb, but the rocket's going to carry Aquas. And now the rich getting richer as Aquas picks up the orb. So he's going to be the first one out of collect power-ups with a 1, 2, 3. Gruntiatus trying to finish the room off with the spreader that he's got. That is not going to be enough as the foot soldiers keep on coming. And already he is down by double digits. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. It's just that the weapons have favored Aquas, and he's already down by 13 seconds and an orb.
Yeah, it's one of the struggles when you're not getting the weapons and the room starts getting away from you a little bit. You get out of center. That takes even more of your kill ability, your kill power down. And all of a sudden, yeah, you enter in with a 130 plus, and with Aquas just locking it down right there with the orb. Double-digit lead going into this one. Trying to get the weapons. Gets rockets at least on Gruntiatus' side, so a little something here will help try to keep a little bit of pace, but really want to see that orb.
2:07 is the entry time for Aquas into Total Carnage. Still has the Orbis Spreader and a kind of a tough spot, but he's able to get to it. Last of the shrapnel dudes, but Gruntiatus did end up losing a second. He's now 14 seconds back.
Grunty doing what he can to use that invulnerability to help. Able to dodge that shrapnel, not too bad. Uses the Razor Shield a little bit as an offensive tool. And hopefully we'll be able to get it soon enough here, because this lead is just going to keep on increasing. Rockets with the orb on Aquas' side. That's going to help.
Razor Shield for Gruntiatus, but still no orb. He has not seen an orb yet in this match as we're approaching the 3-minute mark between the two. A spreader for Aquas, and now a Smart Bomb on the feet to give him a little bit of a breather. This room should be close to over with for Aquas, and it is a 3:06 into the bonus room. A very good time for Aquas. He is pouring it on, folks.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. That's a time that you love to see. A low 3-minute sub 3:10 right there. Rockets for Grunny with the Razor, able to get a little bit done. Gonna get the spread. That's gonna finish out the room, but will be about 20 plus seconds behind here.
Yeah, he's 23 seconds back, and ladies and gentlemen, he's done nothing wrong. He's not gotten an orb, and he's just not gotten the weapons to keep pace with Aquas.
Aquas on the other side, able to start out the room. It doesn't get anything as far as drops. Goes right to the corners. Able to take out the first gunner. Takes out some tanks. Is able to get some shots on the second gunner. It's going to go down to the other corner. Yeah, and that will allow that firing line right there. And probably, does take the center, so not too bad. Aqua's going to try to hold the center here. Let's see.
Oh, but then got overwhelmed. I don't know if the shrapnel picked it off or what, but he did end up losing that orb right there. So a tough break there. Aquas does get a spreader, but Gruntiatus getting overwhelmed on that upper right corner and gets clubbed down. Rockets for Aquas, a great drop to have especially when you don't have an orb.
Yeah, Grunny really just kind of getting the raw end of it right there. Just not able to get weapons again.
Carried that through to the end of the room. A PB potential is there for Aquas. He's looking for a sub 90-second fight. Definitely in the realm of possibility. A little bit of rockets left in that clip. Should take down at least one gunner, but no, decides to focus on the swirls. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, get the swirl out of the way first. That's going to be more of a nuisance, especially if you get something like a lava drop. You're really going to hate it then having that on the board. Is able to get some rockets home. Runny is just going to be finishing out the room, doing as best as he can. Really, below 5 minutes.
I could be wrong, and I don't know. I wasn't paying the greatest attention, unfortunately. He has not seen an orb the entire game.
No, he's been orbless. I don't think he's lost a single orb. This is one of those rough goes. I've been there. I think we've all been there. If you've done more than a handful of runs of this game, you're just like, where are the good items? Do they exist? Is my game broken?
Probably the most famous orbless run was when Turbulent Eddie took the title on our very first annual Super Smash TV tournament. But it is quite rare to see an entire run without an orb.
And I'm getting corrected by chat. Did lose an orb in tank trouble, so did see it toward the end.
Okay. Spreader for Aquas. Going to try to get some manual in. Landing a couple of shots, but not really landing a lot. And he's going to go ahead and change tactics. Gruntiatus. Well, there's a spreader. As long as he doesn't get blocked, this is a perfect location for Aquas. He's going to get it. No problem at all. Cooperation. This is going to be a really good time for Aquas. Final form. Looking for the transfer damage. Going to use the rockets, I would imagine, to try to finish him off. Gruntiatus, just absolutely nothing he can do about this. But he gets zapped. He does get zapped, but he is going to get a rocket.
I don't think got too much in the transfer damage. I don't know if this rocket will get it done. Grenades maybe will, though. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the rockets did get it done. There was enough damage there.
Yes.
Gruntiatus closing a little bit of the gap, though. I'm surprised got to a couple points behind there before this race was decided.
And Gruntiatus is doing a very good job in his Mutoid Man find. His Aquas does clock in at 6 minutes and 33 seconds. A very good time for Aquas, the sub-6 runner. And Gruntiatus, I mean, tip your cap. He did as good as he could have done with what the game gave him, but in the end, the RNG just did not favor him.
Not at all. And that kind of, granted, did, mistakenly, there was a orb there for Gruntiatus and TT, but not getting an orb until you get to tank trouble. You probably really wish the drops worked out better for you if that's the first time you're seeing the orb. So, unfortunate there for Grunty, but doing pretty well, still getting these shots home.
I mean, a sub 730 when he went almost orbless the entire run is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, Gruntiatus played well with what the game was given to him. Just wasn't meant to be, but he is going to have a couple more games to at least get back into this one.
That's really the beauty of these races, of these speed runs. You're talking about a 7 minute clip about, as far as the average times. And God, there, with how many drops you're having to deal with, the RNG based on that, how Mutoid Man operates, the variance within that amount of time for such a quick run is pretty incredible. So, for Grunty, you just accept it. All right, I didn't get an orb for a while. Well, hopefully we'll see an orb and collect power-ups here, and we'll be able to roll with that next race here. So that's what Grunty has to do.
Certainly, and I expect this one to be a much closer affair. I mean, the drops couldn't possibly get any worse for Gruntiatus. It will get better for him in game number 2, and hopefully he'll be able to take advantage when that does happen. So Aquas is ready to go, just waiting on Gruntiatus, and once he's ready to go, I'll count him down.
And I'm looking forward to game 2 right here. I honestly think, we called it in the last one to where we had Scotty take game 2 to even this up at 1-1. I feel like the RNG is going to shake out. I'm going to take Grunty to even this up at in game 2 here at 1-1 going into game 3. I think he takes the dub.
I'm going to favor with you, and I think what's going to happen is Aquas is going to lead going into Mutoid Man, but Mutoid Man's going to do Mutoid Man things. That's my prediction.
Cards calling that the closer is gonna come out and just take this game. Unfortunately, well, I guess the closer for Aquas would be giving up a couple runs in the 9th there. So maybe that's what will happen. We'll see how it shakes down as we go into game number 2.
Absolutely. Here they both have their razor shields, but Aquas once again going to have the whole shot. It's a pretty good time for him at the end. It's going to be about a high 40 for him. Gruntiatus with a high 41, so he's roughly a second back, so it is early, but it's close.
Yeah, very well controlled there by Aquas. Really has a nice strat there for that first room, it seems. That sometimes, it's a pretty simple room, but it's funny, you get one or two little things wrong in that room, and all of a sudden you've lost, 2-3 seconds. And for a 40-second room, 3 seconds you don't like to see. So
Gruntiatus getting the first orb of this game. Aquas had a Razor Shield. That orb, though, going to come in handy for Gruntiatus, but a spreader now for Aquas. End of the room very close, but Aqua's still going to have the lead with a 124. Gruntiatus going to have a 127, so he's now 3 seconds back, but if Aquas doesn't get an orb, we could see that lead swing very soon.
Yeah, Aqua's getting the invulnerability early. Actually, you don't necessarily mind to see that. It really kind of makes the swirl a non-factor at that point, because you're just able to kind of control the room. Had the spreader to begin, so was able to clear out the initial stuff, but yeah, looking for that orb. Gets rockets, so that's really going to help. It's going to probably expend out the spreader damage and then get the rockets. There you go.
Yeah, this should end the foot soldiers with the rockets. Plus, he might have a little bit left in the clip going into total carnage. But again, he is still orbless. If Gruntiatus can keep that orb at 207 for Aquas. But that lead is growing because Gruntiatus not able to control the room. He's actually lost about 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're not able to stay in the center and you start really going out and hunting.
Rockets for Aquas, spreader now for Aquas, but a spreader for Gruntiatus. So Gruntiatus with the weapons, and the longer Aquas goes without an orb, Gruntiatus is going to take the lead eventually, provided he keeps that orb healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Grunty, though, getting the spreaders with the orb and then getting the razors there, so he's going to be able to maintain this room. Rockets only for Aquas, but gets another rocket drop, so that weapon's staying healthy. Aqua's able to clear a lot. Smart bomb on the feet, so it's going to be able to really maintain the center for quite a bit.
Absolutely. He's getting some great weapons here. Now there's a key. A Razor Shield for Grunt here. So Aquas, as long as he gets the weapons, now in invulnerability, he can use that to shred through some of these foot soldiers here. And he made the weapons ride through that entire room. Absolutely. And he is still in the lead at 311 into the bonus room. But as you can see, having that orb, Gruntiatus did pick up a couple of seconds, a 318, about 2 seconds he gained, as it's time for some Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell, I can say it.
And churrito, taquerito, and all that. Perfect, all right.
Now, looking at the weapon clip, Gruntiatus has a little bit of a weapon clip left. Aquas doesn't have any. First drop is grenades. That's not a good drop, but he's going to try to make it work on the gunners on the wall. Gets one, gets them both.
Wow, well done using the grenades. And I think it's something I was going to bring up. Aquas takes death, unfortunately, right there, the shrapnel. But Aquas showing, for a new runner, really having some of that veteran skill. Not getting the ideal drops, but hey, you're going to give me rockets. I am going to be able to really control room with this.
Rockets on the feet for Grunt, rockets for Aquas in this room, as they both are now orbless. Gruntiatus ended up losing his and then just getting pinned down by the...
Aquas with another rockets, though. Wow. It's going to really maintain here.
How many vitamin Rs is that for Aquas here in this game alone? Just absolutely insane. Rockets for Gruntiatus, not to be outdone, Tapatio.
Not too shabby. I mean, the tanks would be jealous from the amount of rockets. They got to be scared going in here. Grunty is able to do pretty well. It's gonna, I think, make up a little bit of time in this room, but
it is 442. But no, that lead is going to widen again for Aquas. It was 442, but Gruntiatus is going to keep pace. I told you that Aquas was going to be first into tank trouble, and Grunt is only 12 seconds back.
Ooh, the early spread, though. This is a risky play because he's going to park on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't work out for Aquas. So a big chance here for Grunt, but another spreader for Aquas. He's not going to be able to take it back. He'll have to manual indeed, and he's going to... And now he gets a good vulnerability!
Wow, I thought he was just going to take it safe, make sure he takes out the gunner, but he gets vulnerability again.
Yeah, but at this point now, he doesn't, but he can use it to take down the last of the gunners, and now he'll go for the grenade. So already the RNG favoring the favorites in drops. Gruntiatus needs to see a spreader, and he does see a spreader!
And he takes a death, like, ideally, as soon as he can, pretty much, gets a great start. This is going to be potentially a lead change right here. No, he doesn't really get it with the manual, though.
Yeah, he wanted to go for the more consistent damage.
Get the lead change.
But he does have the lead now, and this is what I was talking about, that Mutoid Man was going to do Mutoid Man. It sounded like Aquas has been getting empty drops, but the drops have been favoring Grunt up to this point. I tell you, another spreader would go a long way for Grunt to tying up this match.
I mean, we gotta say, LOL, LOZ Cards fan, aka Nostradamus here, predicting all of the things playing out. This is looking really good for Grunty. Down to final form. He is 2 forms ahead.
Oh, but he gets the spreader a little bit too late. He could have gotten the transfer damage. But here's a spreader for Aquas, but he's going to go for the manual. Final form coming up for Aquas. No, not final form coming up for Aquas. Gruntiatus, the slobber, he's missing some shots, changing up targets, and there it is! Gruntiatus has tied up the match.
Excellent job from Grunty, able to lock it down. I thought when Aquas got those lobbers, that might have been a big shift right there, but Grunty was close enough on the damage to be able to lock it down. Phenomenal race. We got 638 there from Grunty and about a low 650 for Aquas.
Amazing. That went from, I think it was a 12-second lead for Aquas to a 12-second lead for Gruntiatus. Amazing stuff here. And we're going to go at least 4 into this one. And yeah, you mentioned it, that I was being Nostradamus in game number 2 here. I called it exactly the way it ended up turning out.
So all you predicting with your channel points, just listen to what Cards has to say. You'll probably make some money on it. Love to see it. Not too shabby. Cards, next time I go to Vegas, come on down. We'll make some money together. All right.
I wish it was that simple, Tapatio. If I really was Nostradamus, I wouldn't be working right now because I would have the lottery numbers as 180 Enforcers asking in chat.
Cards probably be making some money on that Powerball, to say the least, but a nice prediction there for our game number 2, evening us up at 1 game apiece. Best of 3 yet again going into our second match. Phenomenal. What a start to the matches today. Elimination Sunday, living up to the hype. Absolutely phenomenal from all our runners so far.
All right, predictions on who's going to win game number 3. You know what? I think Gruntiatus puts Aquas on the ropes here. That's going to be my prediction. I don't know how it's going to happen, but one way or another, I think Grunt right now, he's starting to feel it. He got the bad RNG out of the way, played really well in game number 1 and game number 2. I think he's feeling it right now.
I might actually lean with you on that. Gruntiatus, a Mike Tyson's punch-out runner, someone who knows something about being on the ropes. I think is going to deal with the punches well, and I think we'll lock down this game number 2.
No question about it. They both have their Razor Shield. Smart Bomb, Aqua's going to ignore it, I would imagine. Yep. And end of the room, and it is going to be Aquas with the lead once again going into collect power-ups, and it's going to be a little bit bigger lead this time. Aquas with the low 41, Grunt with a high 42, call it 1 3/4 seconds.
Yeah, Grunt just had a couple that just kind of went awry right there as far as the as far as those foot soldiers. Aqua's able to just lock down the room like usual, so he's able to start out with the spreader too as well.
First or for Grunt though after that grenade drop. I mean, sometimes you got to pick up bad drops to spawn good ones, and that's exactly what happens for Grunt. Rockets to follow it up, and then a spreader to go with it. A spreader for Aquas plus a Smart Bomb. So right now the drops favoring Gruntiatus at the moment, but he's kind of going all over the place and almost lost that orb to the south door there, and Aquas is actually going to still lead by those same 3 seconds.
Yeah, as much as weapons do matter, and we'll always kind of be able to point those out, those are kind of the more marquee thing. Absolutely, smart movement, being able to maintain the center in this game is incredibly important. You'll see the very good runners be able to really hold down the center, even without the best weaponry. And when you're not quite as experienced with it...
A mistake there from Aquas. He went right into Mr. Shrapnel there.
We'll use that invulnerability to take out 4 of those shrapnel, though.
Wow.
And get an orb!
Are you
what a grab.
kidding me? Oh, it's almost like that was a tactical manipulation right there, Taps.
Tactical death tactical grab.
However,
done by Aquas.
Grunt has taken the lead by about half a second because that was just a much better controlled room by Grunt.
Absolutely. Aquas, though, I mean, keeping it close, that could have been an absolute disaster, but, that orb drop, you got to thank the RNG gods on that one. That was phenomenal for Aquas. Able to get the spreader as well. Able to get a Razor, too. So going to be... Oh, and a Razor on Grunty. So both in the same position.
You gotta love it, Tapatio. Equal opportunity drops for both runners. And now rockets for Aquas and invulnerability. So Aquas, the lead could be swinging back to his favor.
Aquas with those rockets, able to kind of conserve the ammo decently. Misses a few shots, but still doing pretty well. Has the spreader. Wonder if he's going to go for this. Does stretch it out, but loses the orb. That is the risk of making that play right there.
It certainly is, and that was the end of the room, too. He is going to take the lead, but no orb going into tank trouble. 305. Gruntiatus still going to have the orb, but no weapon for him. Aquas has a little bit of spreader left. It's 312. Call it about 7.5 seconds, and call it product placement with Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Product placement with Taco Bell. Indeed, and that's the thing. You see, when you get those spreader drops, it's a nice shiny drop, something you can finish out the room with, but it's over on the edge. Taking the gamble on that was the Aquas, and unfortunately loses the orb due to it. Is able to kind of parlay a invulnerability.
Yes.
What the gunner's done. There you go.
Very good. Yeah, he had a little bit of spreader left, then used the invulnerability, and Grunty, yeah.
Grunty's going to take that death. Is able to use that invulnerability, though, to get the second gunner down. So both in that same position. Both gunners down, trying to get the center. Both are struggling to do so without the orb.
Ooh, but the drop's now favoring again. But equal opportunity continues to shine the light. Rockets for both.
Beautiful rockets. Single rockets.
More rockets for Aquas, and now an orb replacement.
Good God, that is going to decimate this room for the most part. Aqua should be finishing out pretty soon here. Rockets, more rockets.
My goodness, the vitamin R flowing for Aquas, and he's going to take the lead again into Mute Twin Man with a 432. As Gruntiatus gets some more rockets of his own, he is keeping pace. He's only 8 seconds back. He lost half a second in that room. That's how close it was.
That's amazing. Grunty able to hold, pretty much hold serve right there. Keep it close. It's going to have rockets. Going to be able to take out both these guns. Going to be able to take out the swirl. See what this first drop is. So, the spreader going to try to manual it. No.
Yeah, that's on the player one side for Aquas. He is going to have to do a manual. And another player one. Aquas probably forgot he's not player one. He won't be able to get to that spreader.
No, unfortunately. And yeah, if you're
but he gets but he gets run over right as he's trying to do damage. He just gets another one. Am I seeing this?
Oh, my God. But that goes through Mutoid Man. Has to go through the other side, is on the right side now. Does have both arms pop for Grunty. This is very close.
It is very close. It's about a 1-form lead for Aquas as they both have lobbers. A refill coming up. A spreader for Grunty. Doesn't recognize it in time, though, and is going to have to go manual on this.
Gets damage, not necessarily the full manual damage, does get a decent amount. Is still holding that 1-form deficit. Lobbers don't exactly land.
Oh, empty drop for Aquas, though. Gruntiatus out of that rocket clip. Another empty drop for Aquas. Grenades for Grunt. A chance to maybe equal this up. Another empty drop.
And he does equal it up.
Vulnerability. 4 in a row.
Lobbers are going to get Grunty the ability, and he dodges that. Yeah, dodges the shrapnel nicely. Is good awareness right there. Key, unfortunately, for Grunty, but still dealing damage. Final 4 for Aquas.
Aquas got some good manuals there.
Grunty's going to go for it. Unfortunately, Final 4 isn't able to get any kind of transfer damage.
Tough break there for Grunt. This is going to come down to the wire. If Aquas, he dies.
The lobbers do it for Aquas right there. More damage coming out from those lobbers for Aquas. Is able to nail down that Final 4 and take this lead 2-1 in this match.
What a crazy match this ended up being, and Gruntiatus is going to be about 14 seconds back. Unbelievable stuff. Aquas getting all the spreaders in the world, then 4 empty drops in a row to get Gruntiatus the lead for a short period, but in the end, Aquas survives by 15 seconds and is 1 game away from moving on to the 3rd round of the second chance bracket. What an unbelievable game, Taps.
phenomenal. I mean, really quite a grudge match, quite a fight between both these. Really just trying to deal with the RNG that Mutoid threw for both of them. And as we know, Mutoid giveth, Mutoid taketh away. More likely taketh away, but both these runners able to make it a hell of a match right there, and Aqua's just able to get enough done. The lobbers right there at the end for the final form, really what locked it up there for Aqua's nicely landed shots, and that is going to be for the lead right there.
So Gruntiatus gonna have to dig deep and win this one, or his tournament is going to be over with.
And that's the shame on Elimination Sunday here. It is win or go home time. It's amazing the quality of runners that it feels like we've only been doing this tournament for a week or so, and just we got absolute phenomenal runners that are going out early. It is exciting for the future of these tournaments and any further competitions that we have. There's a lot of killers out here.
No doubt about it here, Taps, as we are underway with game number 4. Aquas, 1 win away from advancing to the 3rd round. If Gruntiatus wins, he will force yet another decider.
I don't see why we can't hold the form. Grunty taking game 4. That's my call. You could book it. We're going to go to game 5, baby.
Oh, that would be nice, but I just have this hunch. I think the script is going to flip this time. I think Grunt goes into the lead going into the Mutoid Man fight, and he gets the RNG luck. And he doesn't get the RNG luck, excuse me, and Aquas takes it away. That's my prediction.
Absolutely a chance of that happening. You know as well as I do in this game, it's all on the line until you go down to Mutoid, and what Mutoid gives you is going to be the biggest factor here. Looks like we have a little freeze on Grunty's side. Hopefully we get that stream back going. It looks like we're good now. Rocket's on Grunty's side, so able to maintain with the invulnerability. That actually is a nice little combo. You're able to not really worry about one side and really just hammer down the lanes here. So good job by Grunty. See if they keep pace here. Aqua's gonna finish off with a very nice 126.
Yeah, low 126 there for Aquas. Unfortunately, we did have a few dropped frames for Grunt. So he's going to be about 4 seconds back with a low 130.
Aqua's able to do nicely with the initial room there. Gets Rockets, I thought was actually about to take that death from that green. Somehow avoids that. Now he's going to use the invulnerability, uses the Razor, and yeah, now you're sitting nice and pretty with another rocket drop. Aqua's getting not too bad. When you're not getting the orb, at least you're getting some good other drops going for you. So Aqua's able to hold that down.
Now the rich are getting richer here as Aqua's picking up a late orb at the end of Eat My Shrapnel. 2:10 will be the time for Aquas. Gruntiatus losing time here, and a lot of time here in Eat My Shrapnel.
The rich getting richer just a bit. Aqua, I thought actually Aqua's about to hold that orb somehow, but unfortunately runs that in to a foot soldier right there, loses it, does get rockets though, gets another rocket drop. Grunty able to get his spreader, start maintaining the start of this room. If Grunty's able to get an orb here and maybe some Razor, just able to maintain the middle, can make up a lot of time potentially in this room.
Instead, he gets back-to-back keys for Gruntiatus. That's the worst drops you could think of. Now a spreader, key for Aquas.
Key, absolutely the worst drop. I mean, even the one up.
Another key! 3 keys out of 4 for Gruntiatus. Game, I want to remind you, there is no pleasure dome in Easy Percent.
All right, I was making sure. Grunty had that orb covered up by a present, it looked like, for a little bit, hoping that they saw it. They did see it. Grunty's able to get that with the rockets, is probably able to finish up this room pretty decently, but Aqua's in there at a nice mid 3:10 time.
Yeah, 3:16 ended up being the time for Aquas, and he's actually going to gain on that lead. it's going to be about a 3:29. Call it a 13-second lead for Aquas as it's time for Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell. And Aquas has a little bit of clip left, half a clip of rockets to take down the Gunners using the smart bomb to finish it off. Perfect.
Wow, what a drop. And then the orb, and then something to be able to really hold this center. What drops for Aquas, having the ammo going in, and then able to take advantage of the smart bomb.
Oh, and another smart bomb to give him a little bit of a breather, regain control of the middle of that room. He's looking for weapons to complement that orb. And I don't see what it is. This is a late drop. It's a foot. Oh. Vulnerability for Grunt. That's not going to be helpful at all.
Grunty with a nice dodge there. Some bullets, though. Able to do some fancy footwork. But that's one of the funny things. Grunty going into this room with the orb, you think a little bit of advantage.
But then he loses it.
Yeah, lose the orb, and just the way that the weapon spawn, never got a weapon spawn to really work.
Does get a replacement, and he's able to regain control of the middle, and then he gets shot.
The tank coming out of the left right there as he was trying to shoot over to the right. Just a really bad spawn to see that.
And Aquas first into Mutoid Man with a 436. So right now, he's in position to take the match and move on to the third round of the bonus bracket against Governator.
Beautiful ball breaker right there from Aquas. Well landed. Really, uses the grenades to get one of the gunners, gets the other one with the rockets, gets the spreader, gonna manual, feeling really good.
This time Aquas remembered that he's player 2. He could not take the step. Again, ideal spot for a player number 1 spreader. Now changes it up to the rockets. More consistent damage, more rockets. Gruntiatus is about 40 seconds, a little less than 40 seconds behind. Not over, but that is not a good start.
Spreader was sat on there for Aquas. You could tell. Oh, look at this right there. And that's insane. What luck right there for Aquas. Aquas really, though, with some good movement before that. I was going to say, you can really tell when a runner is feeling themselves in this game. Really getting good movement. Aquas been doing that, was rewarded with that beautiful spreader.
Aquas
Second
is
to
in
last
the zone.
four.
Unless he gets empty drops upon empty drops in the final form, Aquas is moving on into the third round. Spreader time for Aquas. Will be able to pick it up. Does get run over, but he's going to upgrade to lobbers. This should do it.
Yeah, Grunty's able to pop the arm there, able to get 2 arms down. But yeah, if able to, doesn't it take a laser? I think maybe invulnerability or maybe a miss right there. But Aquas able to get that nailed down. Will be taking our 4th race here. Is able to close out the series 3-1 against Gruntiatus to move on.
6:20 for Aquas. Excellent time. To me, it looked like he just got better and better as this match wore on. Just unbelievable. And Gruntiatus going to get blocked by Mutoid Man just to add insult to injury. And then a key to follow it up. Game, that's enough torture you've given Gruntiatus.
Yeah, sometimes when you just don't have an erase, it really makes sure you don't have an erase. And I think Grunty saw a little bit of that here. Aquas obviously playing very well. But yeah, the early kind of ore drop situations and just some really nice setups for Aquas there. Aquas able to perform, able to lock those down. And Grunty playing very well. But yeah, I think that's about it. I would say, with Aquas, you're talking about a world record holder in Gimmick, so probably knows about that really tight execution. I think we saw some of that, honestly, in this game right here.
Yeah, and not to mention that he's a top-class speedrunner in the Ghosts and Demons Ultimate Challenge, which is no joke. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, Tapatio.
I have not, no.
That game, it's a fan-made remake of the WonderSwan version of a Ghosts and Goblins or Ghosts and Ghouls and Ghosts or whatever. It's called Ghosts and Demons. That game is no joke. And he and Bizarre 2K, the top 2 runners of that game, they just make it look like a piece of cake. But it is a balls hard game.